Well, it's early spring, and at this time of year I'm usually spending every Saturday morning I can get out in the field after hooded crows. The reason for that is the 2 or 3 farms in my area that I shoot over are sheep farmers, and at this time of year they're either getting ready to lamb or they're busy lambing, and anybody who lambs has zero tolerance for hooded crows. I have heard far too many horror stories in the past of what hooded crows can do to either a sickly lamb or a ewe that's gone off her feet, and even recently seen the evidence of it, when a ewe who might be heavy with lamb has rode onto her back, can't get back onto her feet again, and the crows have pecked one of her eyes out. I can understand them doing this to a dead animal, but something that's still struggling to get onto its feet, it's just something that inspires me to try and take as many of them as I can when I can. Now, the field I'm setting up in here has proven quite productive in the past, and the observant might have noticed I'm using a different setup from my usual dead rabbit for bait, and you'll see more of that at the end of the video. And also, instead of using my 15 foot-pound BSA Super 10, I'm using my 30 foot-pound plus .22 Theoben MFR, and I have the decoy and bait set out at about 40 yards. I've already my hide set up, which I done while it was still sort of dark, and now I've everything set up. I've got sat down and stuck my face veil on, which still is sitting crooked. I'm just checking with the rangefinder that my beta area is at 40 yards, which is the rifle zeroed. And I just set my shooting sticks up, get the rifle loaded, and get ready for the weight. Now, I wasn't quite sure how well this setup would work this morning, because once I had the hide set up and walked out to set up the decoy and the bait, a hooded crow or two flew overhead, crowing quite loudly in alarm, and I thought, oh nuts, they've spotted me already and they'll not come anywhere near this place. But thankfully, within about half an hour, the birds had taken quite an interest and had already started to land. Saying that, the birds were being extremely cautious, landing well over 100 yards out in the field and then slowly walking their way in towards the bait and the decoy. I've cut the footage down quite a bit, basically because I didn't want to bore the life out of everybody showing you how long it took for the birds actually to come within range. But finally they did, about 40 yards. And at this point I was just thinking about raising the rifle to my shoulder and didn't move, and the birds spotted something and away. But the birds didn't go too far away, and it wasn't long till they were back on the ground again, slowly making their way to the decoy, or pretending to slowly make their way to the decoy. They were about 70 to 80 yards probably, and they were having that, oh, we're interested but not really that interested, and it took them an absolute age to actually come within range again. You're sort of wishing you'd have brought something with a wee bit more poke than an air rifle. But finally one of them started to dander in. Got within about 40 yards again. Got him in the crosshairs. And just as I was thinking about squeezing the trigger, away they went again. It was just starting to feel like it was going to be one of those mornings. The birds landed well out into the field again, well beyond air rifle range anyway, and they were joined by a few of their mates. But nobody seemed to want to commit to the decoy or the bait. But thankfully the magpies arrived, and curiosity got the better of them. Now I know there's people sitting at home, itching in their seats, shouting furiously at the screen, going, "Shoot the magpie. Just shoot the magpie before it flies off. Hurry up. The black and white thing, shoot it. For goodness sake, would you shoot the magpie?" But to be honest, I'm here for hooded crows. And if you want to get hooded crows, you have to leave the magpies alone. And thankfully, patience paid off, and one of the hooded crows landed, as live decoys are better than dead ones. Oh, hello. But as you can see, the crows were still quite jittery. But thankfully, when one flew off, another two birds landed. Now the birds still spent a minute or two parading round and round the perimeter of my setup, not wanting to fully commit, till this bird dandered into about 45 yards, and I took it that was going to be as good a shot as I was going to get. And I put a Bisley Magnum between his shoulder blades. Now after the rest of the birds saw one of their mates go down right in front of them, that sort of put them off, let's say, for quite a while before anything else appeared. But one bird did land at a distance and slowly started to work their way in. I took it this might well be the mate to the bird I've just shot. But it was being very cautious. The ground here is so flat and featureless, it's a bit hard judging range. And the birds were so cautious I couldn't keep moving about in the hide trying to get a decent reading with a rangefinder. But I reckoned this bird was about 50 yards, and I gave the scope an extra 8 clicks up. But just as I was going to take the shot, another bird landed at 40 yards, which is an easier target, and I knew the range, so clicked the scope back again and went for the shot. The shot sounded good, but the bird still flew off seemingly unharmed, and even in the slow motion it's very difficult to tell what exactly went wrong. I think the pellet hit to the left hand side of the bird, taking a few of the grey feathers off on the way by, and the thud was the pellet hitting the ground on the other side. But all the same, the bird got away, and a miss. Now an hour or so had passed when this hooded crow landed, probably about 35 to 40 yards, and started making its way over to the decoys. But I was so enveloped in my phone with very important business that I hadn't noticed it yet.
Ooh, big candy bomb. Very good.
Okay, I was playing Candy Crush. But I spotted the crow, got the rifle on him, and he was off before I ever got the trigger pulled.
Too slow.
About 5 minutes later, another bird landed in exactly the same spot. I don't think it was the same bird, but this time I was paying more attention to my surroundings, and I got onto him straight away. And as soon as he paused next to bait, I dropped him with a shot to the shoulder. Well, I give it another hour or so, but there was no activity in the area, so I took it the hooded crows knew that this corner of the field was a dangerous place to be, so decided to call it a morning. Okay, we'll see what we've done. Set up this time, something I've been trying. Dead crow in a cradle with a fake egg in front of it and a little fake nest with fake delf eggs and a wee Easter chick, and it seems to have worked this time. This is the second bird I've shot. Just a nice sort of 40 yard. Pellet done a decent bit of damage though. For some reason I still needed to put a second shot in him, but he's accounted for and went down on the spot. This is the first one I've shot, and he's probably about 45 yards. Went down like a treat. Very dark back on it. But that one went down and stayed down. There was a third one I've hit. I'll have to have a look over there. He flew that direction. It might have been a clean miss, but I'm going to have a look just to make sure. But otherwise, all in all, 2 hooded crows, not too bad. But the farmer will be happy.